Remember feeling so abandoned when I was discarded in these types of relationships. And I say these types because I'm not sure. I mean, clearly I had multiple people that I was aware of, but with the catfish, I don't know if it was my ex-husband or if it was another person. I have no idea. And the more that you try to figure it out, the more you're just making yourself crazy. So it's just best to not worry about having closure on it, to not try to figure it out. I spent too much time trying to do that. And energy, which is also zapping precious moments of time, keeping me stuck. And it's about healing that abandonment thing, because in essence you're always alone. I mean, my sister told me that. There's always going to be a separation between you and another person because you're your own entity, right? Your soul's encased in your body. And even though you're next to another person, spending time with another person, your experiences are within you, and the interpretation is happening to you, right? And but I think that the abandonment thing is about people rejecting you for who you are, for your vulnerabilities and for your flaws, and the things that you want to hide, that you want to keep secret, that you don't like about yourself, and having another person accept you for those things, and feeling like abandoned or rejected because you have flaws, because we all have flaws. We're humans, and we all fail at things because we're humans, and that's part of learning. You have to fail at things to get better, And then there comes this point in time when all these things happen to you, and these people are so horrific, and you have to decide whether you're going to ruminate in that negativity and that rejection, or if you're going to say to yourself, and it literally has to come from within, this switch that has to happen with you, and say, okay, I'm going to use all that pain and all that rejection that they dished out to me, and I'm gonna turn that into success. I'm gonna turn that into something beautiful, as opposed to something negative, as opposed to being this bitter, ugly, because you could do that. You could turn that back around and hate every man or hate every woman, opposite political party that I am, or whatever, whatever your thing is. Or I could turn that into something beautiful and say, face those fears and make magic. And you're probably like, what? How do you do that? How do you turn that into magic? How do you make peace with it? And I think the first place that you have to get to is you have to realize that those people did that to you because you weren't supposed to be with them. You were supposed to move on from them. They were supposed to hurt you so you would close the door and move away. They were supposed to not come back. If there was a possibility that you might be like, well, they weren't that bad. you have this amnesia period, right? Or I really did love them. And there were moments like that, in the very beginning, and you might falter and you might go back. It was to prevent you from doing that because your place wasn't there. You were so off course. And people, sometimes, you're so dedicated, you're so loyal. That's how I was. I'm such a loyal person. And when I say I'm going to do something, I usually follow through with it. But the problem is that you're loyal by default, right? And you have to sometimes shut the door and on that loyalty, because you need to be loyal to yourself. You need to take care of yourself, because these people don't care about you. They are only prioritizing themselves. And I hate that. I hate the fact that that is turning into that. But it's because you're not meshed with or yoked with the right person that is filling your cup at the same time, right? So ideally you want to find a mate that is going to fill your cup up as much as you fill their cup up. And if they can't do that, or they don't know how to do that, you're just going to be filling your cup up and their cup up, and you're just going to make yourself exhausted. And that's impossible. You can't keep doing that, So yeah, and there's probably going to be times where, in relationships where people aren't going to be able to do that for each other the same amount, because of situations that arise. But the important thing is to be patient and to look for those kinds of people, and to be okay with letting the others go. And I'm not saying this by any means that this was easy. By no means, I mean, it was hard. It was hard because your mindset was my mindset was I was so used to putting my mindset into something and being able to manifest it into existence. And that was the hard thing that was why that catfish was able to manipulate me to such a degree, because I was he told me the story, and I was hell bent on getting him home, not realizing he was a catfish. I thought he was a real person, and so I was oh, you're stranded, I can do this, or I can get you home, we can do this together, and I was so craving somebody to want to be a teammate and wanting to work with me as a teammate, and build something together. And and that was the reason why I was so vulnerable to it. And really, I just needed to be my own teammate, or collaborate with God, and or the universe, whatever you want to call it. And just be okay with accepting and forgiving yourself for the role that you played, and realizing how much pain and suffering I was in, and having that kind of compassion, forgiving myself, really taking that moment and that time to forgive myself for the space I was in. Because, and that takes a while. That takes a long while to be able to get to that point. To be able to look back and reflect and see yourself. And I'm not saying decades. I'm saying it takes some months. It really hard work and letting go and really committing to taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself and being patient and not feeling the need to have to rush and make moves, being okay with the mundane, because that's what they want. They want you to rush and take action, and they'll fake and hide and pretend to be other people online and things like that. So anyway, that's just one of many little tidbits that I'm going to start to share on how to rebuild your life from leaving a narcissistic relationship or traumatic relationship. If you like this and my channel, like, share, and subscribe. Certainly follow me on Facebook, Sunshine Hunting, or my Facebook page, my personal page, Heather Ann Smith. I encourage you to build a support system there with me, along with many others. And thanks for listening. All the best.